Imagine holding a coin in your hand, a small piece of metal with the power to carry history, art, and culture across generations. And now picture a coin that tells the story of a mountain, a forest, and the spirit of America itself. That coin is the 2013 White Mountain Quarter, a shining part of the America, the Beautiful Quarters program. This program, launched in 2010, was designed to honor national parks and sites of natural and historic importance across the United States. Each quarter is not just a piece of change, but a miniature monument to the values that define the nation, and the White Mountain Quarter carries with it the grandeur of New Hampshire, the majesty of the White Mountain National Forest, and the dedication of the United States Mint to preserve and celebrate the land through numismatic artistry. The White Mountain Quarter was released on February 21, 2013, as the 16th coin in the America the Beautiful series, and the first design for that year. It highlights the White Mountain National Forest, a treasured area spanning more than 75,000 acres across New Hampshire and Maine. This forest, established in 1918, has long been cherished for its natural beauty, its ecological importance, and its role in the lives of the people of New England. When you look at the reverse design of this quarter, you are immediately drawn into an image that captures both serenity and power. The focal point is Mount Chocorua, one of the most iconic peaks in New Hampshire, standing tall against the sky with a breathtaking view framed by vast forested slopes and trees in the foreground. The design itself was created by United States Mint Artistic Infusion Program artist Barbara Fox, and it was engraved by sculptor-engraver Joseph Mena. The artistry behind the coin captures the balance between precision and symbolism. The trees at the bottom of the design rise up naturally, guiding your eyes to the peak of Mount Chocorua, which has long been associated with New England. Hiking culture, folklore, and scenic tradition, many consider Mount Chocorua one of the most photographed mountains in America, and the quarter immortalizes it as a permanent image of pride. The history of White Mountain National Forest itself is a powerful story of conservation. At the end of the 19th century, much of the forest was devastated by logging operations, uncontrolled fires, and heavy erosion. The once lush and resilient ecosystem was left damaged, and local communities demanded action. Their concerns gave rise to one of the most significant pieces of conservation legislation in American history, the Weeks Act of 1911. This act authorized the federal government to purchase private land for forest conservation and water protection, leading directly to the creation of the White Mountain National Forest in 1918. From that moment forward, the White Mountains became a living example of how the United States could reverse ecological damage and preserve land for future generations. When analyzing the details of the coin, we can also see how the United States Mint approached the America the Beautiful program with extraordinary attention to historical accuracy and artistry. The White Mountain Quarter was struck at. The Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints and collectors often seek uncirculated and proof versions, which capture the design in pristine detail. The coin, like others in the series, has a standard obverse featuring the 1932 John Flanagan portrait of George Washington, a reminder that even as new designs celebrate natural and cultural heritage, they remain tied to the enduring image of the nation's first president. But the White Mountain Quarter is more than a design on metal. It is a representation of the deep cultural and natural heritage of New Hampshire. The White Mountains have been a source of inspiration for writers, artists, and travelers for centuries, from the Hudson River School painters of the 19th century, who captured their sublime landscapes on canvas, to the poets and novelists who used the peaks and valleys as symbols of endurance, solitude, and beauty. In American literature, these mountains stand as a reminder of the connection between people and the land, and the coin allows everyday Americans to hold that story in their hands. The symbolism of Mount Chocorua itself is worthy of deeper exploration. Native American folklore tells of the chief Chocorua who left behind a dramatic legend tied to the mountain that bears his name. And over the centuries, the peak became more than just a natural landmark. It became a symbol of the region, a subject of romantic art, and a destination for countless hikers seeking both challenge and beauty in their journeys. When the Mint chose to depict this mountain on the 2013 quarter, it was not simply a nod to the physical geography of New Hampshire, it was a recognition of the cultural layers that make the White Mountain significant collectors of the White Mountain. Quarter often note that its design strikes a perfect balance between complexity and clarity. Unlike some coins in the America the Beautiful series that are crowded with architectural or historical imagery, this one stands out for its simplicity. The mountain, its foreground, and its natural frame. It has a timeless quality much like the landscape it represents, and that has helped make it a favorite among collectors, especially those who seek out natural beauty in coin design. The economic and social impact of the America the Beautiful Quarters program should not be overlooked either. By introducing millions of Americans to the national parks and forests through their pocket change, the Mint fostered awareness and curiosity about the very places the coins depicted. Countless people who may never have known of White Mountain National Forest learned of its existence because they saw it etched onto a quarter, and that awareness fuels tourism appreciation and pride in conservation programs. Over the course of 2 hours, you could explore every facet of the White Mountain Quarter, from its legislative roots in the Weeks Act to the artistry of its engravers, from the folklore of Chocorua to the modern hiking culture that thrives in the White Mountains, from the ecological recovery of the region to the way the Mint immortalized that recovery on a coin. You could trace how the series itself brought Americans closer to their national treasures, and how this particular coin stands as one of the most elegant examples of the program. The White Mountain Quarter is more than currency. It is history, art, nature, folklore, and policy, all engraved on a piece of metal barely larger than a thumbprint, yet holding within it the grandeur of a mountain range, the story of a nation's conservation ethic, and the artistic legacy of the Mint in honoring America's greatest treasures. This coin is not just a collectible. It is a reminder of the American spirit and the timeless power of the land that defines it.